What's going on, guys? It's Adonis, and we are back for Flash episode 13 of season 2. It was pretty crazy. Let's talk about it. So, episode 13 picks up where we left off in the last episode. Barry is trapped inside this cage in Zoom's lair, and it's the job now of Wells and Cisco to try to figure out where Barry is at and save Wells' daughter. Now, the episode has some really cool points or plot points that I really enjoyed. So let's get into some of those things that I really liked. Now, one of the things that I really liked was how the story was being told in this episode, and it's the same for the previous episode as well, and how they tie Earth 1 into the story. And Jay Garrick is now the, Flash on that world right now, the only one, the only speedster on that world. So it's really interesting to see him and, Caitlin going through the tests of the velocity serum, and they finally get onto the velocity 9, which actually is now regenerating his cells, which is pretty awesome. So it's kind of like he has a speed force back for a short amount of time. So I want to see where they go with that, but it seems as if they might have killed him off at the end of the episode, but we don't really see him die. So we don't really know what that looks like, but I'm really curious to see what they develop with this velocity serum. Do they take it even further? Do they try to go back to save Jay? Who knows? But it's really interesting on how this episode left off with Jay, as far as how his arc ended in Earth 1. Now on Earth 2, you had obviously everybody trying to get out of Zoom's lair, and they had Killer Frost actually try, to help them, at least what they thought. And she kind of set a trap, but then actually helped them out at the end of the episode. So I liked the tie-in, but they really tied in again to Earth 1 as far as how Caitlin is with Ronnie. Like the love of her life being taken away from her by Zoom. And I just thought it was a great tie-in to her Earth 1 counterpart as far as her emotions and how she actually feels. So I like that those things were congruent. I really enjoyed that aspect of Caitlin, even though there was some parts personally, just on some of like the subtleties in her acting as Killer Frost. There were some things that I didn't really buy. But then on some aspects, as far as her, when you started seeing her personality become more Caitlin-like, I really enjoyed that. So maybe it's just because we're not so used to seeing her like that, and maybe she hasn't been able to play that kind of a character. She's kind of, I don't want to say outside of her comfort zone, but it's just one of those things that I noticed while watching. I liked her character. I just wish it was a little bit more seasoned. Now, some of the mysteries I still think are the other guy that's in the Zoom layer with Barry and with Wells' daughter. Not 100% sure who he is. If you guys have theories on who this guy is, let me know in the comments down below. It could be somebody related to Jay, because they're talking about is Jay back, and he seemed fairly upset. Maybe he's related to Jay in some, shape or form. It could be Barry's dad. Who knows who this could be? But really curious to see who this guy is. And he's knocking on windows, and they're trying to figure out what's going on. How is he communicating or trying to communicate? And they start trying to figure it out. But here comes Zoom interrupting that whole conversation. Now, this is where it leads me into how they were talking about, or how I was thinking, why Barry didn't just phase out of the box that he was in. And, when you saw Zoom do it, I was like, yeah, well, that makes sense. He just phased right in. It's just strange that he would put him in a box that he knew he could get out of. So that was a little interesting to me. Now, keep in mind, he may thought, maybe, Flash isn't that fast, or maybe he doesn't have the ability to phase through objects yet. Or maybe he's a scientist and he knows, hey, well, this Earth vibrates at a different frequency. He's not going to be able to phase out of it. So that really wasn't explained, but Barry, for him not to be able to try earlier on, which is one of those things where I was like, you've done this before, you phased through things before, why aren't you trying this? So it was just a little bit confusing to me how that was written, but, it worked out in the end. And probably the best part of the episode was the other Barry. Now, he was a little annoying at times, but you saw him overcoming some challenges that he had, some mental blocks that were in his way as far as his character in Earth 2, and how now he's now helping Barry from Earth 1, who is the Flash, overcome his fears and his mental blocks that he has as far as not being able to phase through this because the vibrations of the earth are a little bit different in Earth 2. And he, talks him and coaches him out of it, which is pretty cool. Which obviously leads us to kind of the finale of the episode. They escape with Killer Frost's help. They get back to Star Labs, and Jesse and Wells decide to go to Earth 1 to escape Zoom. Now, the crazy part is, to me, is how are they expecting to get back to Earth 2? And also, now that, they kind of trapped Zoom in Earth 2 and Jay just kind of got body snatched back into Earth 2, are they going to go back for Jay? Are they going to try to go and stop Zoom in Earth 2? It's just, there's a lot of openness now to this episode. And are we going to see the ability to jump between Earths? Is Barry going to learn how to use the Speed Force to then now go back and forth between the two Earths? That's going to be really, really, really interesting to see how they do it. Not to mention, we are already knowing that there's going to be a crossover between Supergirl and the Flash. And they showed her in the previous episode when he was traveling to Earth 2. So really curious to see how that works and how they're going to tie that in to the Flash, and what's going to happen with Wells now, and what's going to be the outcome of Jay. But let me know, guys, down below what you guys thought about the episode. I really enjoyed this episode a lot. There was just a lot of tension in the episode, a lot of suspense, so I like that a lot about the Flash this season. But let me know down below what you guys thought. Hit this like button if you guys like the review and the recap. Let me know what you guys think about it. Show me some love. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, you're going to want to do that. You're going to hit that APP logo in the corner to subscribe to the channel. Or if you're on mobile, hit the subscribe button. All right, guys, till next time. See you later.